Alright, hey everyone, here we go. We're going to do a little video here on communications, logistics, and kind of in tandem, this is going to apply for PACE, route planning, the series that I've been doing. Also, PACE is for communications and communications management. That's where the acronym originates, with stages and levels of fallbacks for communications if one becomes compromised and you have to switch to another one. I'll try and make this video kind of quick. Notice, get two of the same. The Feng is the way. If you're not watching Risky Krisky's videos on Baofengs, along with a couple of other actually good ham and transceiver channels out there and stuff that aren't FUDs, you need to go watch those guys, okay? Krisky is a bro of mine too, and he's putting out excellent talks and content about this kind of stuff. Yes, basic setups here. I don't have, protection shells for him or anything right now, like any of that stuff. Some in-ear, components for, talking and listening. I did have a lollipop. I have to get a new one because my old one broke. The lollipop being the handset that, links on your shoulder. That's what we call it, lollipop, for listening and sending. But again, it's audible. It's not an in-ear system. It has its situational applications. One of them being for vehicles. This is where the mobility logistics comes in. So with your PACE route planning and mobility logistics operations, okay, what we do, like in security contracting and things like that, and then, obviously in the military, you've got your radio systems in your Humvees and things like that, in our Humvees and all that. But with radio logistics in contracting, lead vehicle has our TL, our team leader in it. He's really the primary when it comes to radio logistics, communication stuff. He's the one that's working along a lot of the time, depending on the detail, like PSDs and stuff. We had a DSS, a diplomatic security service agent, with us too. Both of them work together to coordinate with our company, and the vehicles have like a LoJack type. They have a tracking system in them, so we have real-time GPS updating of where our positions are, how long the venue, and things like that. And we're regularly communicating and doing updates with our radio communication systems. Obviously, in the civilian application, this is going to be different. Okay, it's going to be different. You're going to end up using stuff like this. And I agree with Krisky, brother Krisky, on all this stuff. These are the most common radios that you're going to see out there. These handheld systems, they're not transceivers like these, but you can get the frequency and basically slave link these for these systems. So you have secondary radios for other exigent isolated teams and stuff to, maintain communications. They're not going to be able to change channels on radios like these. And these are secondary radios that some of us had, with contracting and stuff, especially for base force protection, mobility patrols, mobile patrols and things like that. But also on the ERTs, like I was doing, and things like that. Like, we had these slaved and linked to the communications setups in our vehicles and to communicate back to our operations base. Okay, so kind of the same concept here, but on the civilian side. Okay, and notice I have different antennas on these based on what I need. Okay, so it's going to depend your scope of operations and things like that, but communications in a vehicle, in movement, in transit, is key, much like on patrols, foot patrols, but with mobility in a vehicle, especially for emergency situations and things like that. Logistically, you're going to want to maintain communication more frequently, okay? In SHTF WROL type things and dealing with adversarial forces, yeah, they might be able to, depending on the range capabilities, technology, like all that stuff. Like, these are relatively short range radios, especially with these antennas. We're not trying to broadcast far. We don't necessarily have like a base, a patrol, a PB, or base of operations, a dispatcher that we're working with. So all you have to do is be able to communicate between your vehicles a lot of the time, and maybe to other mutual aid support in the area that you have continuity, getting the same frequencies, you know, charted out and all that stuff, okay? Other than that, I mean, it's going to be insular to your team or teams, whatever it may be, however you have it broken up, all that stuff, okay? So communications in a vehicle is extremely important, especially for a myriad of different situations, emergency and otherwise, okay? And then for Minuteman operations, things like that. Foot patrolling, obviously you're going to be doing pre-planned, preset times for checking in, checkpoints, you know, things like when you've reached a checkpoint for transmission or for your OPLP, operations observation and listening post. You know, reporting in with your observations, with a salute report or whatever it may be, you know, like all that stuff. In the other times, you're going to be radio silent. Have these off, okay? When you're on your patrol, in large, again, unless you absolutely have to broadcast something, you need to have them off, okay? That's for foot patrols. Mobile-wise, these are going to be on. They have to be on. You have to be able to communicate with each other. Somebody's got to radio you, hey, we just got a flat. Roger. We got to pull security now. We got to do a rapid tire change and keep moving, okay? Communications is essential in mobility logistics, okay? So that's where something differs in the operations and implementation of communications for your route pace plan and mobility logistics compared to foot-based patrolling, compared to your patrol-based operations. Patrol-based operations, you're not going to want to do, you're not going to want to be transmitting besides on pre-planned periods of time. Again, a lot of planning and logistics come into all this. The other, and then in that off time, you don't want to have your radios on. You really don't, unless you need one on to receive because of an emergency situation evolving, okay? CASEVAC and other medical things or natural disasters, whatever it may be. But that's really just the gist of it. That is the down and dirty, the simplest way I can explain it. Battery's going to die here, so again, go check out Risky Krisky and some of those other channels that are actually putting out good information on this stuff. But this is just to kind of round off some of the communications aspect of PACE, both for communications and for your route planning logistics, along with other operational considerations, okay? So, that's what it is. Metal up, folks. Out.